Triangles and their properties. Triangles can be classified by their sides. Equilateral triangle has all equal sides and angles must be equal. Isosceles triangle has two equal sides, and scalene triangle all different sides and all different angles. The sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degree. So if you have angles A plus B plus C would be 180 degree. If all angles are equal, so it would be the same divided 180 divided by 3. That's why equilateral triangle has 60 degree each angle. Triangles can also be classified by their angles. And we have acute, that means all angles must be acute. We have right triangle. The triangle gonna have one right angle. Right angle is 90 degree. And obtuse has one obtuse angle. That means angle is between 90 degree and 180. Cannot be more than 180 because all three angles must add up to 180. Example 1, find x. So if we have all angles must add up to 180 degree, so we will have x plus 3x plus 2 plus, and this one means it's a right angle, so 90 degree. In that case, we adding, this is my x plus 3x plus 2 plus 90 degree must be equal to 180 because all angle in a triangle add up to 180. And then we can add it, x plus, there is nothing to multiply, so 3x plus 2 plus 90 is 180. 1x plus 3x gives me 4x. 2 plus 90 is 92. Is equal to 180. We need to move it 90 to the other side. So we will subtract 92, subtract 92. So we have that 4x is equal to, and we have 88. To isolate 4x, we would divide by 4, and my x is equal to 22. So this x is 22, so this angle would be 22, but this angle we would need to multiply 3 times 22 plus 2. But the question only asks us to find the x. Part B, we will add all the angles together and they need to add up to 180. So we have x plus 4 plus x plus 3 plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 180. Simply we added x plus 4 plus x plus 3 plus 3x minus 2. And in that case, we're gonna have it, how many of those x's do we have? We have 1x, 2x, and 3x. So total x is 5x. And then we can add the numbers. 4 plus 3 minus 2. 4 plus 3 is 7, minus 2 is 5. So we have plus 5 is equal to 180. First we need to bring the 5 over. So minus 5 minus 5. We have 5x is equal to 180 minus 5 is 175. And then we would divide by 5, divide by 5. So my x is equal to 35. Find all angles of each triangle. So this is an isosceles triangle. We know that isosceles triangle base angles are equal. So if this angle is 55, then this angle is also 55. And the third angle, we can call it x because at this point we don't know. But we know that once we add all three, it would be 180 degree. So we have 55 plus 55 plus x is 180 degree. And add them together, we have 55 plus 55 is 110 plus x is 180. Then subtract 110, subtract 110, and we had that x is equal to 70. So all angles, so the top angle is 70 degree, base angles are 55 degree each. Then we have part B. We also, these two sides are equal. This is indicator that these two sides are equal. So if two sides are equal, we know that the base angle must be the same. And at this point, we don't know, so we're gonna mark them X. We're gonna mark them X. But we know that all angles, when we add them, they need to add up to 180 degrees. So we would have it X plus 100 is equal to 180. X plus 100 must be equal to 180 degree. So 1x plus 1x gives me 2x plus 100 is equal to 180. Now we need to solve it. So first subtract 100, subtract 100, and we have 2x is equal to 100 minus 180 minus 100 is just 80. Divide by 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40. This cancel out. And 80 divided by 2 is 40. So base angles are 40 degree each. Now we have two triangles are similar, either corresponding angles are the same and their corresponding sides are in the same proportion. What does it mean? This angle is equal to this angle C is equal to angle F, and angle B is equal to angle E. But sides are in the same proportion. So if this is 3, this is 6. That means that this sides is multiply times 2. And if this side is multiply times 2, that means those sides also multiply times 2. And those sides also multiply times 2. So that's the same in the same proportion. Each side is multiplied times 2. Note that recognizing two equal sides is sufficient to conclude that the triangles are similar. because if two sides, those two are equal, that means sum of the angles is 180. That means this angle was also gonna be equal. Given triangles are similar, find the unknown. So we need to recognize what is the multiplication factor. In that case, from 3, going from 3 to 12, what we need to do? We need to multiply times 4, or we can go 12 divided by 3. The scale factor is 4. What I did, I took the bigger side divided by corresponding small side. So it's multiply times 4 times 4. Therefore, each side needs to be multiplied times 4. So if this side is 5, we need to multiply times 4. Or in other words, take the bigger side x, divide by the smaller side, take the bigger side, divide by the smaller side, and it needs to be equal to the multiplication factor. Divided by 5 must be equal to the multiplication factor. Always the bigger side divided by the smaller side needs to be the multiplication factor. So to solve this, we would need to multiply times 5 times 5. So my x is 20. And the same for the last side. The bigger side divided by the smaller side must be equal to the multiplication factor. So we will have 24 divided by the smaller side must be equal to 4. And how do we solve it? First, we're gonna multiply times y. So we have 4y is equal to 24. So now we would divide by 4, and y is equal to 6. So those ones are my answers. X is equal to 20 and y is equal to 6, I'm sorry, 6 times 4 would be 24. Part B, we need to recognize that we have two triangles right here. The small triangle is here, and we have x, and we have x, and we have 2. So here is x, here is 2. But then also we have a bigger triangle. And in that case, this side is 6. So we can write it down that this side is 6. But then the whole base would be what? It would be my x and the 10. So in other words, x plus 10. Can we see that? We have two triangles. One is small triangle right here, and the bigger triangle is right here. And those two triangles look similar because they have the same angle. This is the same angle, and the right angle, both of them has right angle. So those call it similar triangles. So in that case, we can write, as we can see actually, that going from 2 to 6, that's my scale of proportion. 2 to 6, we need to multiply times 3. So this needs to be multiplied times 3. But it would be easier maybe to keep setting up proportion. As I said before, take the bigger side, divide by the smaller side, that would be my scale. That must be equal to the bigger side divided by the smaller side. So we will have 6 divided by 2 must be equal to the bigger side 10, x plus 10 divided by x. One more time, bigger side divided by small side must have scale of 3 in that case. So this bigger side divided by small side also must scale of 3. And this we can solve it, either multiply this 6, we can either cross multiply or we can divide those two and get the answer. So either way is correct. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, is equal to x plus 10 over x. To solve it, we would need to now multiply times x, multiply times x, then this x is cancelled out, and on this side I have 3x is equal to x plus 10, then bring x's on one side, so subtract x, so we have 2x is equal to 10, and to solve it for x, if we have 2x is equal to 10, then we would divide by 2, and we have that x is equal to 5. Example 4. For the given isosceles triangles, are similar. Find the perimeters and their areas. So we need to figure out the multiplication scale first. Take the bigger one, divide by the small one. So if we take 30 divided by 6 is 5. The multiplication factor is 5. So I'm going times 5. So now this side, we need to also multiply times 5. 5 times 5, that gives me 25. And this is isosceles triangle, so this is 25 as well. And the small size would be 5. So perimeter small would be 6 plus 5 plus 5. That gives me 16. Perimeter big would be 30 plus 25 plus 25. We have 30 plus 25 plus 25. So this is equal to 80. Notice that going on perimeter, if I have 16 times 5 would be 80 as well. Perimeter we would multiply by the same factor, multiplication factor 5. Now we need to find the height. This height is 20. So what height needs to be here? This would be my height x, or height times the 5 multiplication scale must be 20. So we can go that height times 5 must be equal to 20. That means this height, I call it h, times the scale is 5, must be 20. So then we have 5h is 20, divide by 5, so h is 4. The small height is 4. So area of the small, area of any triangle would be 1/2 base times height. Of small would be 1/2. My base is 6 and height we just calculated is 4. So we have 6 times 4. So area small is equal to 12. Now we're gonna have it area big. or the big triangle would be 1/2 times base. Base is 30 times height is 20. So we have 30 times 20. So area big is equal to 300. And if you notice, going from 12 to 300, this is multiply times 25. 12 times 25. So this is my 5 squared. This is my scale squared. Where on perimeter, we just multiply times 5 to change from big to small. So this is my scale K. Example 5. The given triangles are similar. Find their perimeter and their areas. So as before, we first need to find the scale multiplication scale. So take the big divided by the small, that would be the scale what we need to multiply. So 9 divided by 6, and this can be reduced if we both divide this by 3, divide by 3. So the scale would be 3/2, or you can say 1.5. So the scale is 1.5. You would need to go from this times 1.5, 1.5 to get to the other side, right? So now we need to find the other sides. Let's use some labels. Let's call this side X and this side Y. So set up as before. Big divided by small must be equal to the scale. This is the multiplication scale. So we have Y divided by 10 must be equal to 1.5. And then times 10 times 10. So we have that Y is equal to 15. And the same for the last one. Big divided by small must be equal to the scale. This is my scale. So in that case, we have 12 divided by x must be equal to 1.5. And to solve it, we would multiply times x, this cancel out. So I have 12 is equal to 1.5x. And then we would need to divide by 1.5, divide by 1.5. So my x is equal to, 8. Okay, so my y is equal to 15, my x is equal to 8. So now we can see perimeter small. We would add all the sides. We're gonna have 6 plus 8 plus 18. 6 plus 8 plus 18, and in that case this gives me 24. Perimeter big would be 9 plus 12 plus 15. 9 plus 12 plus 15, and that gives me 36. And it should be the same as you would multiply times the scale 1.5. If you multiply 24 times 1.5, that should give us 36. But this is the small perimeter, this is the big perimeter. Now area of the triangle is 1/2 base times height. So area of the small triangle would be base, and height is right here for right triangles. So small is 1/2 times 8 times 6. So this should give us this should give us exactly 24, and area big is 1/2, base is 12 times 9, 1/2 12 times height is 9, so this is equal to 54, and this should give us, if you multiply times 1.5 square it, that should be the case. So here we have to summarize. If two triangles are similar with proportionality scale k, then their area differ by the factor of k squared and their perimeters by the factor of k. So in other words, if we have it perimeter big is equal to perimeter small times k, so this is the multiplication, but area big is equal to area small times k squared. Or we can write it down that perimeter big divided by perimeter small, this is equal to my scale, but area big divided by area small, this would give us k squared. A man 6 feet tall cast a shadow of 8 feet long. So 6 feet, here is his shadow. At the same time, a tree shadow is 20 feet long. How tall is my tree? So we can either find this scale factor, this is the big, divided by the small, or we can just keep set up a proportion. So we have the big divided by small, that's my scale factor. That must be the big, that must be the tree, big tree. So we need to put it maybe x, that we want maybe x. So we will have the x to the height of the man is 6. One more time, big to small, that's a scale, must be the same as big to small. So we have 20 to 8 must be the same as x to 6. And this would be the easiest, just cross multiply using proportion. So we have 8 times x is 8x is equal to 20 times 6. So we have 8x is equal to 20 times 6 is 120. And divide by 8, divide by 8. So x is equal to 15. How tall is tree? The tree is 15 feet tall. A man 6 feet tall cast a shadow of 10 feet. If the man is 12 feet away from the flagpole, as in the diagram, how tall is the flagpole? So here we have two triangles. We have one small triangle with the man. So here we have 10, Here we have 6. Here we have 6. And then we have the big triangle, which is right here. That's the big triangle. And let's call the flagpole X. So this would be my X. And then we need to decide what is this length right here. So this length is 10 and 12. In that case, this length is 22. And as before, we have big divided by small must be equal to big divided by small. We can go either way. This side divided by this must be equal to those two sides. Then both are correct. So we have x divided by 6 must be equal to 22 divided by 10. Big X divided by 6 must be equal to 22 divided by 10. And then the easiest way to use proportion, X times 10 would be equal to 6 times 22. So X times 10 is equal to 6 times 22. X times 10 is 10x is equal to 132. Divide by 10, divide by 10. So we have that x is equal to 13.2. The flagpole, how tall is flagpole? 13.2 feet long. Find the width of the river using the measurement from the diagram. So here is we need to find this is my width of the river, that would be my x. Let's call this would be my x. Now we have two triangles. We have one triangle right here, and then we have upside down triangle right here. So we need to choose corresponding sides, the similar sides. So this is big side on the base, it would be this side, and then tall height would be the same proportion as this side. So we will have big to small must be the same as big to small. So we're gonna have 20 to 8 is the same as x to 14. Usually we set up proportion 20. This is my base. This is my base. This is my height. This is my height. And as before, we can cross multiply, use proportion. So we're gonna have 8 times x is 8x is equal to 20 times 14. 20 times 14, so we have 8x is equal to 280. And then we need to divide by 8, so x is equal to 35. And the unit is meter. So the river is 35 meter wide. And now we have congruent triangle. Congruent means the same. So two triangles are congruent, either length sides are exactly the same and angles are exactly equal. To determine whether triangles are congruent, we use the following: either side, side, side. That means all sides. This side is equal to this side, second side is equal to the side, and three side. So if all corresponding sides are equal, then those two triangles, call it congruent, means the same. Similar was it that it was smaller, bigger, but congruent means the same. We can also use side, angle, side. So we have side are equal, two sides are equal, and angle between them is equal. then those two triangles would be equal. Or we can use angle, side, angle. So we have two angles and side between them. Then these two triangles are congruent or equal. And we can also have angle, angle, side, or side, angle, side, or side, angle, angle. So we have two angles and a side, two angles and a side. And this follows from this case because if two angles are equal, the third is also equal because of 180 degree. All three angles add up to 180 degree. Two cases that do not guarantee congruent triangles. So if you have only three angles equal, then the triangles might be zoom in, zoom out. In that case, the triangles can be similar, not congruent. Congruent means exactly the same. And the second one is if you have two sides and an angle, because if you have length of this and you try to mark it, you can have two triangles. One triangle would be right here, it's 6, but the other triangle would be right here. It has 6 and, oh, sorry. The second triangle would be 6 right here, 11 right here. And the angle would be exactly the same. So that's why those two triangles may not be congruent. So those are two cases that do not guarantee congruent triangles. And we have simple example. Determine if the given triangles are congruent. If they are, state by what property. So in the first case, we have 7 centimeter, 7 centimeter, 35, 35, and 3.1, 3.1. So those two triangles are congruent. That means exactly the same except this one. These two are rotated. If you take and like rotate this triangle this way, you would get exactly this triangle right there. So by what property? We have a side, angle, we have side, angle, side. So that would be by side, angle, side property. Part B, we can see that this side is equal to this side, the second one 5, 5, and 3, 3. So certainly the triangles also are congruent. By side, side, side. All three sides are in the same, are exactly the same.